The death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin and the subsequent trial of his accused killer George Zimmerman captured the nation's attention. Viewers were able to witness every moment of the trial firsthand. That's because in Florida, where the trial took place, cameras like this one are allowed in courtrooms. Some believe they allow for transparency, while others say they're just a distraction. Reporter Ashley Thompson looks at both sides of the issue in the Alabama News Network Extra TV Justice.
TV reporters are often assigned to cover court cases, and there's one piece of equipment that could make relaying that information to you, the public, a little easier. It's a camera, but in Alabama, those aren't always welcome in court, and some say it's because they can affect the outcome of a trial.
Every time I feel sad, or, I get weak about the situation, I just remember him always smiling, and that helps me a lot.
Felicia Butler Lovejoy says she'll never forget the day Montgomery police showed up at her front door.
And my husband, was whispering, is he okay? And that's when I saw the detective he was shaking his head, saying, no.
Her son, 24-year-old Antavius Butler, had been the victim of senseless gun violence. Gunned down right here on Groveland Drive in Montgomery, Butler was the city's 34th homicide. Police have charged Jacoby Foster of Montgomery with Butler's murder. With the trial not yet underway, family members say they'd like television coverage of the case. But because of an Alabama law, that's not likely to happen. In Montgomery County, that policy states that 3 parties must all agree before a camera is admitted inside a courtroom: the prosecution, the defense, and the judge. Judge Charles Price is the presiding judge for the 15th Judicial Circuit in Montgomery County. He says he was once an advocate for allowing cameras inside of courtrooms, but has since changed his stance.
It all depends on the judge, who the judge is, how much control he or she has over the case, over the courtroom.
Price says he believes cameras often make people behave differently, and as a result, order in the court is sometimes lost.
And everyone appears to be auditioning for the next TV program, and they be too much theatrics basically playing to the cameras.
Attorney James Anderson of Jackson Anderson and Patty says he can agree with that.
Oh, there's going to be some that are going to do that. We've got our group that plays up to the cameras outside the courtroom. I think the same ones would do it inside.
Still, theatrics or not, Anderson says he supports allowing cameras in court.
The public has a right to know what's going on, and you wouldn't be there covering a story unless it was something that was of interest to the public.
Like the O.J. Simpson trial in California, or the more recent trials of George Zimmerman in Florida and Darrius in Arizona, all broadcast.
Yes, I think.
You think? It means you don't remember what you just said?
So why not here? It's a question Sharon Tinsley with the Alabama Broadcasters Association has asked many times.
If you think about that, we have cameras in those school board meetings and city council meetings and in Congress and in the legislature. Why not in the courtrooms?
Which are all funded by taxpayers. Tinsley believes cameras do help ensure that the innocent get a fair hearing. Though Judge Price says that's not always the case, with personalities on cable networks and those on social media forming their own opinions.
Darrius pelted
these lies
on the Darrius trial.
Darrius.
But there's too much second guesses, too many pundits on making predictions about trial. There are too many minute trials going on the side.
But facts are facts, Tinsley says, and she draws a line between television stations in Alabama and the major media networks.
I believe that local television stations are very balanced in their coverage of the news. It disturbs me when people confuse what you do and what your television station does with what cable outlets do.
Is it possible that media outlets would affect the outcome of a trial? Both Anderson and Tinsley say no, though Judge Price says otherwise.
I think the Zimmerman case is just classic because the first juror came out. I don't want to prejudge her or criticize her, but there's no question about the mind was made up long before all the evidence was in.
Still, in 2013, when many state court systems have an open door policy for cameras, Alabama is not following suit, and supporters like Lovejoy say cameras in courtrooms can only benefit the public.
All the murders going on in Alabama, in Montgomery right now, if someone can just see how, you know, how painful it is to a family and what it does when a tragedy like this happens, maybe it could help. Maybe it would help.
So will cameras ever be allowed in courts here in Alabama? Well, the verdict's still out on that one, but Alabama is currently participating in a 3-year trial project which evaluates the effects cameras may have in courts. In Montgomery, Ashley Thompson, Alabama News Network.
All right, thanks, Ashley. And we're asking you to let us know what you think. Should cameras be allowed in courtrooms here in Alabama? Sound off on our Facebook page, Alabama News Network. One of the people most talked about in that story, George Zimmerman, was back in a Florida courtroom today.